Trigger warning. This does talk about loss of pregnancy. So if that's something that would trigger you, by all means, scroll on to the next story and we'll see you again in the future. Am I the asshole for telling my sister in law that I've had 4 miscarriages when she said I didn't understand her loss? I, 34 female, am married and a mama to a 1 year old daughter. My husband and I actually had a very difficult time becoming parents. I've had 4 miscarriages, all before my daughter was born. But I'm honestly just so thankful that we have her. I don't typically speak out about my fertility issues, and the only people who know about my miscarriages are my parents, my husband, and 2 older sisters. My husband has a sister in law, 31 female, who we love dearly, but she tends to play the woe is me card and act like no one else is struggling as much as her. She and her husband recently got pregnant, and about a month ago, she had a miscarriage. She's been open about it on social media and at family events, and so I've reached out and expressed my condolences and listened several times. I can tell that she's really struggling with this, and I genuinely feel bad that she's suffering. Saturday night, we went to my in law's house for dinner. My sister in law was talking about the miscarriage and how hard it's been. My little girl was sitting on my lap, but she was playing and obviously didn't understand what her aunt was talking about. At one point, my sister in law started crying, and my daughter noticed and got upset. She wanted to give my sister in law a kiss to make it better. She always does this when someone is upset. Oh, so sweet. I told my sister in law that my daughter wanted to give her a kiss, and she said no, pretty harshly, and looked annoyed. My daughter was confused, and I told her to give me a big kiss instead. My husband said that was rude, since our daughter noticed she was sad and just wanted to make her feel better. My sister in law then said it's just hard that both of her brothers have happy and healthy babies while her child is not here. She says she loves her niece and is so happy that she's here, but she's sad that she and her husband haven't been blessed with a child yet. This deeply upset me because I can't believe she'd be triggered by her own niece. I've never looked at my sister's kids or my brother in law's kids and felt anything other than joy that they were in the world. My sister in law must have noticed I was uncomfortable because she proceeded to say that we couldn't possibly understand since we haven't ever lost a child. Ooh, okay. I should have kept my mouth shut, but that moment and assumption was the last straw. I told my sister in law that we do understand since I had 4 losses. I said that it took years of trying before I brought my beautiful girl into the world. My mother in law, who's very kind and empathetic, hugged me and said she was so sorry to hear that I'd struggled with that. My sister in law was shocked and asked why we never told anyone. I said I'm private. I wanted to process it on my own, and I have a hard time talking about my own hardships because I know everyone else is going through things as well. Anyway, my husband told me that his sister called him and is upset. She said I was trying to compete with her by saying I had 4 losses. She also said I was also trying to make the conversation about me when her wounds are still fresh. She also commented that I was being passive aggressive when I said everyone is going through things and that I was minimizing her loss. My husband was laughing when he told me, but I actually feel a bit guilty. Maybe it wasn't appropriate to bring up my miscarriages in that moment, but her comment really got under my skin. Am I the asshole? Ish. We're about to be introduced to Ish Island. It was asshole-ish. Here's why. You already admitted at the beginning of the story that you did not share that information with any of his family. It is great that his mother-in-law showed empathy and would have liked to have been able to be there for you, but ultimately you did not share that with them, so you couldn't have expected them to know. As somebody who's had quite a few of those losses, I personally have never had an issue being around anybody else who was pregnant or had just had babies, because I saw them for the miracle that they are. And the struggles I was having had nothing to do with somebody else's. As a matter of fact, I took solace by being around others that had children. But that was my journey. I can't speak to somebody else's journey. I could see where it might be hard for her, but I know that you also said the woe is me. I will say she's definitely doing the whole victim thing though, by trying to say you were being passive aggressive, by trying to minimize her loss. You weren't minimizing anything for her. You stated your reason for not sharing your losses was because others were going through things and you didn't want to burden them. What does that have to do with your sister-in-law? She made that about herself. So no, if that, in that case, you're not. But you're on asshole island-ish because you did use something that happened to you to clap back at her, but she had no idea it ever happened. So yeah, that part-ish. All the rest, no, you got this.